guys, it's Kim, and today I'm here to share with you a design team project for Craftsupplies1, and this is also a video response for a giveaway on Lily Lineca's channel, and the requirements for that challenge were to make something in the Christmas theme, and the colors had to be whites, creams, beiges, ivory, golds, and silver. So that was my inspiration for this box, and it was really a lot of fun to make this. I've never made something this monotone before, and because I'm used to working with different colors and things, but I really love how it turned out, and I hope that you do too. And I just want to share with you some of these gorgeous yummy goodies from Craftsupplies1 that I use because they just fit in so perfectly for doing this. So as you can see, it's an altered box, and what I did was I painted the whole box white, which is some white acrylic paint, and I had this vintage music paper in my stash. And what I did with this was I took the paper and I crumpled it up and made a big mess of it, and then I uncrumpled it, flattened it out, and then I took my tea dye distress ink and I went all over it with the tea dye. It was already a really gorgeous vintage color anyway, which you can see here. That's the color of the paper, but the tea dye distress ink did add a more vintage look, which is what I wanted. And after I adhered all the paper to the box, I then used my Lindy's Medieval Gold spray, and I sprayed all over that as well, just to get some gold sparkle in it. And I also took some texture paste, and you can see a little bit of it here, and a couple of different masks, which I'll show you as we go along, and I went all over the box with that. So there's quite a bit of distressing and mixed media going on in the box. So let me get started. As you can see, this is the very front of the box, and it just has a very simple latch right here. I used some of the Tim Holtz feet on the bottom. I thought that added a really interesting look because I wanted this to look like a sort of a Victorian music box, ones that people would have in those days that they would wind up and play music. So that was my thought process, especially around the holidays and Christmas time. People would use those types of things, I would imagine. So what I did after I did all the paper and the distressing, I started to embellish, and I have these chipboard snowflakes from Gina's, and what I did was I used my homemade texture paste on them, so they're very dimensional. This one here and this one here I did cut in half, and then after I used my homemade texture paste, I went over it with the diamond stickles. And then here, these are some wood veneer numbers I had in my stash, and I did the same process with them, and you can see the little bit of glitter from the stickles. This flower here is from Craftsupplies1, as are all the flowers that you'll see on the box, and this is a metal filigree piece from my stash. And basically the sides are fairly simple. I just used the metal filigree piece and a Craftsupplies1 flower, and here you can see more of the texture paste and the distressing I did on the paper. And also on this side as well is exactly the same. More distressing. You can see here probably a bit of the Medieval Gold Lindy spray, a bit more of the distressing here. It's a bit of a flower pattern. So yeah, pretty simple. And the back I didn't put a flower on because I figured it was the back, and I just added the metal filigree. And the same thing, a bit of distressing and texture paste. So that is that part of the box. Now on the top, I've gone all the way around the box with this stunning and gorgeous trim from Craftsupplies1, and it's so beautiful. It is satin, it's double layered. It is satin on the top, and then this beautiful, gorgeous lace on the bottom. So it really fit in perfectly with this project. I just love how that came out. Now the paper on the top I did slightly different. It's really different. I've torn it and I've ripped it and crumpled it up, and because I figured the top of the box would be the most destroyed if this was a vintage, an actual vintage piece. It would be the most used, the most, worn looking. So what I did here on this paper was the same process, except I did some stamping and embossing. Now here you can see, I hope, a little stamp that says December 25th, and I used my just clear embossing ink, and then I used some gold embossing powder over the top. And I've also done, I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up, but this is clear embossing powder, and it's a snowflake stamp. But it does give lots of nice glitter. So you'll see a couple of these stamps. There's another one there, and I think there's another one under here somewhere. Yeah, up there. There's another December 25th right there. And another snowflake embossed over here. And then at the top of the paper here, whoops, let me see if I can get that. There you go. I've ripped it just to give it that more worn look. And then, of course, down here I have cut the paper and rolled it back, and then added this little Prima zipper, which I love, in the white. And then I've just added a piece of vintage trim from my stash here. Now, up here in the corner, I've used the beautiful and gorgeous Craftsupplies1 trim. This is the beautiful crocheted trim that Julie sent me this month in my kit, and I just love it. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous ivory color, and I made these really pretty flowers with them. And then in the centers, I've used the bling buttons that Julie carries in her store. I just love how that sort of picked up. I mean, the box is old and vintage, but it's still got a bit of sparkle to it, so I really like that. And then in the center of the buttons, I've just used some twine, some jute twine. And then here you can see these beautiful parchment flowers, little white flowers here, also from Craftsupplies1. Up here in the corner, a couple more of the flowers. There's the little guys and the parchment flowers, which come in white and cream, and there's my kitty cat saying hello. For some reason he does this when I film. It must be my voice. Mooney, come here. Sorry, guys. He likes to be on camera, I guess. And then behind there, I've taken a chipboard clock from Gina's, and I've cut it in half, and it's kind of underneath there. You can't really see too much of it, but there is a little bit of it peeking out. And there you can see the torn paper. And then I've cut another snowflake in half here and added a Craftsupplies1 flower. Same process with the homemade texture paste and the diamond stickles, and there's another little December 25th stamp. Now you will also see, sorry for bumping the camera, these little guys right here. These are from that gorgeous new mesh bling that Julie has, and you'll see them elsewhere on here. And I just cut little pieces just to give it a bit more sparkle. Here's another snowflake from Gina's and another Craftsupplies1 flower. This is a wood veneer piece from my stash. Here is another Craftsupplies1 piece. This is the metal piece, and to me it looks like a brooch almost. And what I did with this was I added another piece of the bling right there in the center, and then I took a cameo and I just painted it white and put it in the center. So that has like a nice focal point. You can see all the texture paste around it. Now over here in the corner, I've taken another chipboard clock here. This is the other half of that clock, and I've used a Prima little cherub with a violin just to pick up on the music theme. And here's the key for the music box, and I've added another piece of the bling right there. Sorry for the noise, guys. And of course, more beautiful, gorgeous flowers here. And yes, these ones here are so beautiful. These ones you can get in Julie's store, and they've got the pearl sprays. They're like a fabric flower. And more of the beautiful parchment in the cream and the white, and the little white ones there. Just love those. So beautiful. And then another half snowflake here, and another little bling. And there's another little bling right there. So that's the outside of the box. And now the inside, I'm going to move my camera for this. So 1 second, just because I think it'll be easier for you guys to see this, I hope anyway. So here's the inside of the box, and you can see up here I've used the gorgeous Craftsupplies1 trim on the top and the bottom. and more snowflakes everywhere. Right there, right there. And this is just a vintage doily piece I have here that I put down, and then an angel, cherub angel from my stash. Another wood veneer piece, more of Julie's gorgeous crocheted trim. And then this piece here is a snowflake I've had in my stash since last year. It does have a tiny, tiny bit of pink sequins in it, but I thought it went well anyway, and it picked up on the snowflake wintry Christmas theme I was going for. And then in the center of it, I've put another of the beautiful, gorgeous Craftsupplies1 flowers, which I just adore, and then another little snowflake down here. And of course, you can see the vintage music paper in the background. In the bottom, I've just painted it all white and added more vintage music paper. So that is my vintage music box for DT Project, for Craftsupplies1, and also for the challenge that Lily is holding. So I hope you like it, everyone, and please feel free to comment or subscribe. I love to hear from you. And I want to say welcome and thank you to all my new subbies as well. And I will talk to you guys soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.